Did you know that a weed could be a vegetable? It could be a fruit. It could be a grass. It could be a flower. Basically, a weed is just a plant growing in the wrong place. So, for instance, this would be a weed in this lawn. Weeds could be in raised bed containers. Weeds can sneak into your flower pots. And of course, weeds can be in your flower beds, like these, or like these, and all of their friends. There are numerous tools one can use when getting rid of weeds, from large to small. Pretty much anything would work. What I find best is this one. The most important thing to remember when you're pulling weeds, whether it be a grassy type or a flowering type, is to get the entire thing, and that means the root. You do not want to just pull the leaves off, because the bottom has the roots, and that's going to continue to grow and sprout more leaves and more flowers and more seeds, and it will bring its friends. So one of the best things about pulling weeds with your bare hands is you can get at the base of the plant and pull gently, and ta-da, you get all of the roots. Here's an example of why it's really good to get your fingers down at the base of a root, down here, and pull gently, because sometimes you'll discover that one root is connected to another root, which becomes a whole other plant, and it's connected to another and to another, and you end up with this whole system. Like, this is one long system here, and here's a connected system right there. But if you're very careful with the way you pull, and if the ground is slightly moist, you have no problem pulling up the entire thing, and now you know you got it, and it's not going to come back. One thing you can do to make this an easier task is to make sure the ground is slightly moist before you begin pulling weeds, so that the tops don't just pull off and leave the roots in the ground. So whether or not it's rained in advance, you can run the sprinkler system, or put the water hose out there, or even pour water directly onto the base of the plants and let it sit for a few minutes, and the roots should release a lot easier than they would if the ground was just hard and dry. Sometimes the weeds are so plentiful they choke out and hide the plants you actually want. So this handy little tool can kind of loosen up the soil so that we can then pull up the plants with the roots intact. And then there's always this fancy tool, which is very helpful when dealing with this kind of stuff. For example, another neat tool when it comes to pulling weeds is this sort of a pickle fork looking thing. You don't want to put it right at the base of the plant, because what you end up doing is severing the stem, and then you end up with the root still left in place. So you kind of want to come away from it a little bit and dig below, and then lift. And sometimes you have to do it, another spot. But you'll know when you've got it. You'll kind of hear it release. I heard it. Look at there. And that's what you want, the entire thing. Rather than leaving yourself a big mess to clean up after the fact, consider instead pulling a weed and just put it in a little box or a bag.